I went to China for the first time in 2003, and I was bowled over by the feeling of connection I had with China. I started having exhibitions in China, I started meeting more artists, and then I started bringing Irish artists out to China. So BigSmall is very organic. It wasn't about kind of setting up an organisation or people applying or anything like that. It was about just a group of friends who felt this connection, and what brought us together was art. And I would also say, welcome friends, and 欢迎来我们的展览. Just a kind of a few words about what we're trying to do here. I mean, I suppose the fundamental underlying motivation for us is, I suppose, friendship through art. We've become friends with most of these artists, and we enjoy very nice dialogue with them, and it's a joy to work with them. And you know, it's true, in this time of recession, you're particularly aware that actually in the world, divisions and problems between people are caused by politics, by economics. But isn't it great that actually art, music, food, all of these things bring us together? So the whole thing is a crisscross between our experiences, and you've got an Irish artist using calligraphic forms, and we found those connections between us, even though we come from very different backgrounds, but we've really come together. And here is Chung Xian-jun, who works a lot using imagery from Tibet. He's very inspired by Tibetan culture, and he uses old Tibetan texts, and he's got a whole collection of seals, and he works on lacquer. And as you can see, it actually marries very well with the sort of calligraphic black and white that Audrey's been using in this as well. And this is Ray. His sort of inspiration really is how to express emotion through art. Very much inspired by historical paintings, the religious paintings from the 15th and 16th century, where people would look and be genuinely moved, you know. And I think that's one thing that all the artists here have tried to do, that we are doing work that we want people to come in and feel something. It's not about being clever, it's not about making a joke or being ironic. We just want people to be touched by what we do. This is one of mine, and it's all the books in my head, you know, the way you sort of have all these kind of strange obsessions about, I would like to write a book about it. One of these days I'll write a book about this, but of course, you know. Jo Ting trains as a graphic designer, but actually she has been pulled very much towards the fine arts. She's got a very humorous take on Beijing. All these bicycle saddles symbolize the multitude of people in Beijing. This is Bridget. She works with a calligrapher. So she's making these books in paper, and she works with Railteen, who does all the lettering. And as you notice, it's all exhibited on domestic furniture, because we didn't want to do the cold, harsh white plinths. We wanted people to come in and feel really quite comfortable with it. People wanted to come up to it, they wanted to look in detail. They weren't afraid to be close to it, and that's exactly what we wanted. Curating a show like this, what you're trying to do is bring elements together which might be quite diverse in some ways, but which really work together. This is the video of Xiao Kang's work. He's devoted his life to making this work as a gift to his dead father. And you know, it's actually incredibly moving, you know, and he doesn't sell it, not for sale, ever. And this is the wonderful Pani Chun, who's a great friend. He's a wonderful guy, and this endless feast, because of the centrality of the feast and the table and food in Chinese culture. And like anybody can relate to it, you know, we all can. It's got such kind of power and presence, really. This is Ria O'Neill, who's another young Irish artist, very much from a family that travels. She's actually in America at the moment. And these are her two pieces. They're usually kind of stories from her past, connected, you know, the landscapes that she grew up with. Zheng Shuiwu works with newspapers. Now, he spends hours rolling these things. You cannot imagine how difficult this is to do. Well, you might, if you ever try and roll a newspaper. He uses them as a sort of, here is our history, here is our past, here's our news, but we can't quite read it. And it's that sort of tension between what you can and what you can't do. And he always exhibits his work on domestic furniture, which I love, you know, I love that way of doing things. And here is now Gail Chongquan, who is a young artist of Chinese origins. very erudite and very interested in the remains of people, what we leave behind. And it's called Paris Remains, and it's leftover food that she picked up on the ground in Paris and fashioned into architectural landscapes and then photographed. And then the last piece in the show then is mine, which is a Sailing on the Gorges, an account in drawing of when I went to the gorges and drew them from a Chinese calligraphy book, which they're sold widely. Everybody uses them to write in. But I thought, God, I want to draw in this. You know, you have that sense of an unfolding landscape. So that's it. You've had the guided tour now.
We're looking at a view of water.
The other thing about our exhibition was that we really wanted to include as many people as possible. And part of this was to involve Vocalize, which is an organisation that provides describers who can describe works of art for blind people.
Through the window, there's a view of Paris.
We really liked the ethos of Beaux Arts, going out into communities who might not have any experience of encountering the arts and pulling them in. We hope that perhaps the Bangladeshi community or other communities will join us for future collaborations. I think in this way you can really improve social cohesion. People will feel they belong more together, and this will have an important impact on London as an urban community.